Hi everyone, this is Tony St. Mark coming to you live from Brooklyn. I just want to thank everyone for all your support. Thank you to everyone who's been sharing these videos. It makes such a big difference to get this movement going. You know, it cannot be a movement if there's no motion. So I need you to create the motion. So thank you so much for the shares, for the comments. Some people have contacted me about books, and that is just awesome. It just makes me feel so good, and it affirms that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So, we all need some affirmation. So I don't want to keep you long because it is kind of late for some of us who have to go to work tomorrow. I want to talk to you about the definition of sexual abuse. And I think to most people it seems like a no-brainer. Sexual abuse, why do you have to define it? Because I'm going to tell you, I attended a church that made all its members go to a sexual abuse workshop. And in order to go into ministry, you had to take this workshop and you had to learn all about what sexual abuse is, what child abuse is. And one of the things that they did for me that I thought was amazing is they defined sexual abuse. I actually did not think that I was sexually abused at all. I thought that I was fine. I thought everything that happened in my life was consensual. And turns out that consensual is not the issue. They use a different word. They use the word power. Instead of consensual, they said the person who is being abused does not have the power to fight it. And even though they may give consent, they don't have the power to prevent it. And that's something that I did not realize. Even though I gave consent to a lot of things that happened in my life, I didn't have the power to stop it. I didn't have the knowledge. So I want to talk about how someone loses their power. First of all, if you are bullied, and in Cheyenne's case, and my case as well, we were bullied. We were feeling as if we were ugly. I've been 6'2" the majority of my life. Actually, I was 6'2" since I was 13 years old. So you can imagine how that may have impacted me. So if everybody is teasing you, calling you ugly, you feel different, that can make a huge difference in how you perceive yourself. And if you long for a certain type of affection and attention, and you feel that someone has that affection and attention and you can't get it unless you do certain things, you have no power. It's almost like a crackhead that has to get that fix. The person who has the crack rock in their hand has the power. And the crackhead is the powerless. You feel like you have to do what they want you to do in order to get what you need. And a lot of people do not feel that when you give consent, you were abused. But if you felt that that person had what you need and they're forcing you to do something so that you can get it, you're being abused. And that's something that we don't always realize. So when you are ignorant about your worth, ignorant about who you are, if you're ignorant about what sex is, what inappropriate touching is, you may not even know what's going on. I know there was a game going around when I was younger where young women were performing oral sex on each other. And they would call it all kinds of different games. And I didn't even know it was sex until my mother identified it as oral sex. And I was like, what? That's sex? I didn't know that was sex. But that's a form of abuse. Even if you're the same age and one friend asks another friend to perform oral sex on them, that is a form of abuse. If you're ignorant to what you're doing, it's a form of abuse. Also, if there's a trauma in your life, if there's something going on that shakes you to the core and you don't know how to deal with it and you choose to deal with it in different ways, someone can come along and take advantage of that situation. And you may give consent to everything that happens, but because you don't have the power, because of your mindset and your emotional state, that is a form of abuse. I would like to call it inadvertent abuse because a lot of times when young people are abusing each other, they have no idea what they're doing. Sometimes they're just acting out of what has been done to them. So I can guarantee you, when one of my cousins asked me to eat her out, I can guarantee you she was not thinking, let me abuse her. I'm willing to bet money that somebody had her do it to them. And even though it impacted my life, I guarantee you it's inadvertent. And one of the things that we need to do to hinder it is to start supervising our youth, start educating our youth, start controlling what we allow to happen in front of us. So many times we allow children to talk to each other any kind of way. Sometimes you'll have students calling each other names, and I've seen teachers ignore it because they don't have the energy. So you hear, oh, you stupid, you ugly, you black, you're this, you're that. And we see it. Sometimes it's a parent listening to your children tease each other. Oh, shut up, you ugly, this and that. Oh, sit down. They pushing each other, and you think it's simple. It's not having any kind of effect. But I guarantee you, it is damaging them to the core. And it is speaking to their spirit. And it's telling them, I'm not worth anything. I'm ugly. I'm stupid. There's something wrong with me. I don't look the same as everyone else. So they're not going to want to play with me. They don't like me. The boys I like are not going to like me back. So if they come to me and they say, oh, you know what? We're playing this game. 2 seconds in the closet. You want to play? Oh, he's talking to me? Ugly me? Oh my gosh, yes, I want to play. Yeah, never mind the fact that I end up in the closet and somebody has their fingers in my crotch. Guess what? That's abuse, even though that person consented, because they don't feel that they're loved. Because guess what? They've been called ugly. They feel worthless. It's inadvertent abuse, yes. I don't believe that the young men in my life who has done some things to me that I consented to, I don't believe that their purpose was to just abuse me. I think it's just a selfish, instinctual thing. They want to get their rocks off, so they do what they do. But because I was not aware of my worth, and because I felt dirty, I felt ugly, I felt that nobody would ever love me, when they showed me a monicum of attention, I felt that I had to go along with it. They had the power. I did not. I was powerless. And that's the definition of sexual abuse. When you have the power and you use it inappropriately. And that's the definition of abuse. When you use something for a different purpose than what it was created for, you are abusing it. If you give a gun to a 5-year-old, you will find that gun being abused. Somebody's going to die. When you give power to young people over each other, it is abuse. So the best thing to do is to empower your teenager, empower your students, empower the young people in their life so they're not constantly giving their power over to their peers. And you have to teach our young people how to treat each other. You have to teach them, just because you feel horny, it does not mean you can grab the nearest person that will let you and screw them. You have to let them know there's a reason why we have sex. There's a reason. If you don't care about them, then you should not be having sex with them. Because when you have sex with someone that you don't care about, guess what? You are abusing. Just because they let you does not make it right. You never know what's going on in their life. They may have just lost a parent. When I lost my father, even though I was in my 30s, I still felt a loss of my covering. And I reached out to an ex-boyfriend when I found out that he had cancer initially. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I felt lost. And it can be considered abuse when a man takes advantage of that, or a woman takes advantage of that. So I really want to redefine what sexual abuse is. I feel like we think just because it's not an old dirty man and a little 5-year-old, that is not abuse. We think that if the person consents, it can't possibly be abuse. She said yes. It's almost like telling a rape victim that has an orgasm, it wasn't rape because you had an orgasm. That's so wrong, so hurtful. And it's the cause of so much shame in our lives that we can't even look at the things that have happened in your life. If you look at some of the things that have happened in your life and the things that you've allowed people to do to you, you'll realize there were areas of abuse where you didn't feel that you could stop it. You did it for whatever reason. Whatever was going on in your heart and your mind, you allowed it. Does it mean that it wasn't abuse because you allowed it? Why didn't the other person say, I'm not going to take advantage of you? You know what? I shouldn't even be trying to holler at you, because the truth of the matter is, I don't like you like that. I just think you look good and I'm just trying to get some. Why can't we teach our youth that that's not acceptable? Why can't we teach our youth that that is a form of abuse, so that when you have someone who's young and is not empowered, they don't get taken advantage of? So I want to just implore you to, let's stop the bullying. People are dying. People killing themselves. I think with cyberbullying going on, I've already had way too many examples of my students being recorded doing God knows what, and it being posted on the internet. If that's not abuse, I don't know what is. Did she consent? Yes. But guess what? It was abuse. So we need to educate our students. Let's stop this bullying. It's not okay. Let's treat each other with respect. We also need to make sure that we're affirming each other. We need to teach the youth to appreciate their own attributes. Appreciate your natural hair. Appreciate your complexion. If you have a big nose, it's your nose. It's original. Nobody has a nose like you. You're beautiful. Teach them that the personality that they have, the love that they have for other people shines through, and that's what makes you beautiful. And that is a really, really hard thing to communicate. I understand that. But it starts with us constantly being consistent over and over and over and over, and telling the youth over, and starting a movement, a Tony St. Mark movement, where we constantly tell them, this is what you're worth. This is what you're capable of. You do not have to give your power over to someone else. You do not have to allow yourself to be abused, because your body was made for a certain purpose. And when somebody uses your body for a different purpose, other than why God designed it, they are abusing you. And just because you allow it to happen does not change it from being abuse. And just because they're not thinking, I'm abusing her. Although some of these young boys are thinking that, for real. But that's beside the point. I digress. Just because they may not do it on purpose doesn't make it any less of abuse. So I really want to implore you to share this video. If you feel comfortable, those of you who have teens in your lives, whether they're your nieces, your nephews, your children, your students, I really want to encourage you to show them these videos. I want to encourage you to give them a copy of the book. I know a lot of people are scared to give their kids a copy of Chronicles of a Teenage Sex Life. It is extremely graphic, I know, but I guarantee you it's no worse than what they're hearing in school, what some of them are doing when you're not watching. And we have to take these things and put it in perspective. I've met so many parents that have said, I'll give my child a little sip of alcohol while they're supervised, so when they go away somewhere, they won't think that it's all that. It won't be anything to them. They'll have a little sip. They'll know. We'll talk about the use and the reason. We'll talk about why they need to make the wise decisions with alcohol, and then they won't become alcoholics. They'll make wiser decisions with alcohol. Why can't we do the same thing with sex? Why can't we show them the real deal? This is what happens. This is what a boy will do to you. This is what he will say after he does it. This is how you will feel. This is why I wrote this book. This is why Tony St. Mark was born. So please, 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 go ahead to Walmart.com, Amazon.com. If you have a Kindle, you can get it right on your Kindle. You can go to Lulu.com and get Tony St. Mark's Chronicles of a Teenage Sex Life. And I guarantee you, it will really change your perspective of what teens are going through. And like I said before, there is no platform for this. There's no one talking about this. This is a movement. I need to get people on board, jump on the train. Let's get this moving so that youth can get the message. It's not okay. So I want to thank all of you. I see your comments. Gail, that's awesome. You're going to a conference on cyberbullying. Any information you can share with me, I really want to see it. And thank you, everyone. Shanira, I see you. Adrian, I see you. Dale, I see you. I see my baby is up in there. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and the comments are appreciated. Please share. I want this to be busted wide open. I want teens to get this message. I want parents and teachers to get this message. So please feel free to share these videos and message me, friend Tony St. Mark, like my page on Chronicles of a Teenage Sex Life. And I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same station. Have a great day. Or night. Bye.